An alle Frauen, die gesagt haben, mir fehle das gewisse Extra. Ich hab's jetzt. Von Sinalco. Und euch gebe ich nix davon ab.
Hast du's auch schon? Sinalco extra fruchtig. Jetzt in 3 leckeren Sorten mit 10% Frucht. Gönn dir dein Extra.
Die Sinalco schmeckt.
Und jetzt neu. Sinalco extra zuckerfrei. 0% Zucker, 100% Geschmack.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone. This is Chrism, and I'd like to welcome you to this conversation about your Kundalini awakening experiences. I am one of the hosts of this program, and I'm going to go ahead and just start diving into this today. I do have some announcements, but we'll make them later on. What would happen to you if all of a sudden your mind and your emotions, your heart, became hijacked? And by hijacked, I mean it became, in a way, taken over by another force, another type of consciousness in a way. You've heard me talk about entities here. Having an entity take over your mind controls how you think, controls what thoughts are put into your head, controls your heart and how you feel about any given thing. I'm looking right now at a pillow. And if an entity was in my head and wanted to say, oh, God, I hate that pillow. That pillow is the most despicable pillow I've ever seen in my life. I just want to kill it. I want to kill the pillow. Okay? This is the type of scenario that people that are possessed have to deal with. They have to learn how to self-correct away from corruption that's being pumped into them. And with Kundalini people, it's just that much harder. Because with Kundalini people, it has the ability to get in the way of your process, to get in the way of your agenda. And yet the Kundalini will also be going, well, hey, now, back off of the pillow problem, okay? The pillow is soft. The pillow is something that you picked out. The pillow is there to serve you, to make your happy little ass a lot more comfortable. So back off of the pillow problem. And yet the entity is going, no. That pillow is actually a bad luck pillow. That pillow is there to hurt you. You could die. That pillow could suffocate you. Think about that. And of course, you'll think about that because the entity is pushing that thought into your head. And it's typically not one entity. Often it's just like it's a whole group of them. They'll all chime in. They'll be laughing, screaming, whatever. What would happen to a person if they invited all these entities to come into their head, to come into their heart, to come into their life because they were so pissed off at having to be raised in a certain way that was in a plasticky, fake kind of way, pushing goodness all the time. And I mean plasticky fake, like say, well, here's a good example. Say you're the child of a minister or a reverend or somebody who's really pushing the whole religious thing. Push. No, you can't listen to music. No, you can't watch TV. No, you can't have movies. No, you can't go on a date. You can't go dancing. No, my child, you must study the Bible. Well, of course, the child, if they're they're a normal child, they're going to rebel. They're going to rebel against that. They're going to go straight over to the exact polar opposite of what Christianity is promoting, and that would be evil. That would be the devil. That would be Satan. They'll go right into Satanism. What if this is a person that would have the Kundalini? That somebody, who's here on this world that is destined to be awakened. Well, they have some of these sites out here where the satanic community is pushing for Kundalini activation, pushing for a person to awaken that divine self within them, because they feel that if they can control the ego of the person and put the ego in charge, well, then they can corrupt that person's Kundalini process, which leads to a greater level of pain and hurt and sorrow and all of this, all the opposites of what goodness, love, forgiveness type of things. The opposite of those things. And so this produces what Samuel Weor called the Kunda Tiguador. The Kunda Tiguador. And the Kunda Tiguador is what some folks would call the opposite, the antithesis of what St. Francis of Assisi would be, or St. Teresa of Avila, or St. Hildegard, all of these saints that represented love, light, goodness from a Christian standpoint. There's that opposite quality. If you allow negativity or entities to become the rule rather than what's the word? The device to get over it, to move through it, rather than the test. It becomes the rule rather than the test that you go through. So here you go. Once again, I'm only, this is what I'm being compelled to talk about today, because in this conversation about this, we need to hit it hard, and we need it to really get it into your understandings that you will be tested by grace. She will allow you to undergo severe levels of testing in order to purify yourself. Let's just say that the Kundalini wants you to move across the country to a completely different land or state or county or whatever it is, and you're saying, well, forget that. I like where I'm at. Thank you very much. The Kundalini tells you again, no, and typically not with words, but with the compulsion. No, you got to move. You got to move. Move it, Mr. Chrism. Move it. And Mr. Chrism says, well, it's nice here in California. It's pretty. I'm settled in here. I got my computer connection. I do all this work, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not going to move. Well, then a certain kind of test can be designed for levels of understanding the importance of moving, the importance of obeying what the Kundalini has set for you to do, because God knows far more than you know about where he and she want you to be in order to give this information. Well, this is what I do. I give the Kundalini information, but maybe you're an architect. God and Goddess know where the best place for you to give Kundalini-infused architecture into this world is. And so if she wants you to move and if he wants you to move, then you move. But what if you have entities in there? What if you have those dark forces that their main purpose in existence, and I won't say life because they're dead. Well, not dead. Some of them are dead, but death is another form of, and so the consciousness of death has the ability to interact with the consciousness of the living. Okay, we get that all the time. We even get it from our ancestors. From mom and dad will come and visit us in a dream, and so there's that communication. Dreams are vectors of communication. So if you have entities blocking that and guiding you, saying, I am the Lord your God, you shall obey me at all. Of course, this is in full-on English words if you're an English speaker, Spanish words if you're a Spanish speaker, and so on and so forth. So I am this and that, and you must obey me, and you don't know any better, or maybe you even do. You finally just yes, I submit to the Lord my God. I shall do what thou tellest me to do. And then, boom, you're in direct contradiction of the Kundalini, of what her agenda is for you. And that, that is going to be loaded with pain. You can feel like you're on fire all the time. There's a certain disease that people feel. It's a neurological disease, and it literally feels like the skin is burning. And they're in that level of intense pain all the time, 24/7. They have to give them really, really strong drugs in order to control the pain to the point where they can actually manifest some sort of a life within society. But now you're with entities. And even though the entities have possessed you and they've embedded themselves deeply within you, and they control kind of how you perceive life, you find yourself to be kind of depressed all the time. You find yourself wanting to commit suicide all the time, fantasizing about it, seeing it. How do I commit suicide? What's a good way to die today? And you try out these various scenarios in your head while you're at work. You're going to go, I could hang myself. God, that sounds so painful. Oh, let's try something else. So you cut, or some way to commit suicide, and that begins to coalesce into a reality for you. And so you've decided on a way, and let's just say, okay, I'll give you a premise here. You're in the car and you're driving 65, 70 miles per hour. I don't know how fast that is in kph. I think that'd be like 120 kph, kilometers per hour, because, kilometers are slower than miles because they drive on the wrong side of the road in other places around the world, so they have to be slower. It's a slower driving experience. I'm just kidding. Okay, so you've decided you're going to commit suicide this way. You're going to fling yourself out of the car at 125 kph, and we'll just pretend that it's like 75, 80 miles per hour mph. And you're there. You're in your car. You're on the motorway, or what we call in California a freeway, and you're up to speed. Nobody's around you because, of course, you don't want anybody to save you or help you or anything like that. And you fling yourself out of the open door of the car at that speed. You fling yourself out, and you hit the pavement, and you bounce right back in through the car door, and the door closes. Well, WTF? What do you think's happened? What on earth just occurred? I threw myself out the car door. I hit the ground and I bounced. I bounced back into the car. The door closed. I didn't close the door. What just happened? What just happened? Huh. How the heck does that work? What? I did it all right. I did it perfectly. I got up to speed. I opened the door. I unlocked the seat belt. I threw myself out the door. And how on earth did I get back into the seat behind the wheel with the door closed and the car's not crashing and I'm still going 75, 80 miles an hour? That's the Shakti, ladies and gentlemen. These things happen to Kundalini people. Even though she's allowing you to be possessed for a certain amount of time by these negative entities, she's not allowing you to perish or to kill yourself. She won't allow you to die by her own hand because of the ignorance and the innocence that you possess with regards to the true reality of what Kundalini is. She'll allow the entities to torture you, of course. That's part of the learning. If you have that agenda of learning, not all of you do. But this where the flesh meets the pavement, where the bullet hits the bone, when it comes right down, to whether you live or die, you will live. You will live, my friends. And trust me on this. Don't put it to the test. Just trust me on this. So what to do? I was like, okay, guy, you're back behind the wheel of the car, and you're pulling over. You go, oh my God, what happened? No way. Oh, Jesus, I can't even tell myself right. The entities in your head are going, oh man, you totally fucked up, dude. Man, let's try it again. But I think you've had it for that night. You know, you go, oh no, man, I can't do that again. That's too weird. Now what do I do? And you're still infested with the entities, and all of a sudden you get a picture of a face in your head, and you know, she's this shaman chick, you know, from somewhere on the internet. We'll just pretend. And you know, you get a compulsion, a feeling to call her to kind of tell her what's going on. It's like, you know, and so you call up the shaman woman and the shamanette. Sorry. You call up the shamanette and you tell her what happened, and she, you know, this woman has some knowledge, and she goes, oh, you have entities. Oh my God, you have entities. And I don't think I can get these entities out of you because they're associated with Kundalini, which means Kundalini's allowed it to happen. I mean, I can break eggs over your head. I can shake, rattle, and roll all around you. I can give you ayahuasca. I can give you Syrian rue. I can give you marijuana. I can give you peyote. I can give you LSD. I can give you psilocybin, but it doesn't matter. I can give you all that stuff together. It's not going to matter. Kundalini said that you can have these entities. And the challenge is for you to get rid of them through a change in your behaviors and a change in what you accept yourself to be able to express. What emotions? So the entities are saying, well, I want you to kill that pillow. You go over and you give love to that pillow. You give appreciation for that pillow. You appreciate the people that made the pillow. You appreciate the availability of that pillow. You appreciate everything about that pillow because the entities are saying, don't appreciate it. And you keep doing this. You keep denying the false feelings that feel real that you're being given. The false feelings that feel real that you're being given. You deny it. You deny it. And you deny it with force. And you do anything that you're told to do from the teacher, the shamanette woman that has given you to do. I mean, okay, you gotta be a snake. I need you to become a snake. Now, slither across the floor. Or you need to be a dog, and you need to be in downward dog pose. You need to pant with the breath of fire. So do that. Do that in the grocery store if you can do it without being arrested. You know, I mean, do it under any circumstances that are given for you to do it. And believe it, even though you're receiving thoughts that this is not helpful, this is stupid, this is ridiculous, why on earth are you doing this? And you're receiving feelings like, oh my God, I hate this, I despise this. This is the silliest thing I've ever done. This is so stupid. Okay? Entities are pumping that into you because you've given them that space within their heart in order to do that to you. In other words, you have given yourself a test from the Kundalini that involves the embedding of going back to the minister's kid, the satanic entities to have their way with you, inside of you, to give you that lust for power to cause pain for other people, to give you those dark, dark thoughts of giving yourself to Satan or to whatever negative entity is there. You've given total permission for this to occur. And you better not sit there in front of that shamanette and start complaining about, oh, my life is it's just so depressing. Oh my God, I just can't get away from it. This is like a dark cloud is always under me, raining on me, and my umbrella broke. Okay. Are we clear about that? And so you have to do the things daily, as much, if not more, as you did before, to embed these entities in you. You have to do those reversals all the time. It's got to become important to you, because if it's not important to you, it's not going to get through the veneer and the blockages that these entities will put up within your head, your mind, and within your heart, your feelings. And it is a longer road than, say, normal Kundalini people coming into contact with entities and going, oh, shit. It's like, I'm hearing voices. Well, I'll just ignore that and pretend life is normal. Which I think is what most of them do. I'll just ignore that. I didn't hear that. Really? No, did not hear that at all. I'm not crazy. Unless you hear leprechauns. If you hear leprechauns, well, it's a completely different story. Sorry. Anyway, I'm gonna open it up here to my co-host, who is the provider for this program. She and her grace has allowed this program to exist, and she is Santara Kundalini. Hello, Santara.
Hello. Hi, Chrism. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello. Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, that is good. And the sound is good in the chat room. The sound is good in the chat room, so just to let you know.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been looking in there. I saw Andrew.
Oh, okay.
Andrew. Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about with this?
No. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, but you didn't let yours go so far. You didn't invite it in either. You see, there's a difference. You didn't say, yeah, every satanic entity in my area here, come, you can have a home right here.
No, I did not. I suppose, you know what you're saying, though, about entities? It was interesting because you said, I think you said entities control how you think and how you feel. And I'm thinking, no, they don't. Like, they certainly project.
No,
and
listen.
There are times.
If you let them in, you give them permission to control you.
Okay, well, maybe that's the difference then, because.
That's a big difference.
Okay.
Permission is huge.
Okay.
Permission is a huge deal.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly, in my experience, use feelings that you already have. Let's talk about the pillow. So I might have already had some issues with the pillow before the entity came, and they will.
It just wasn't fluffy enough, right?
Whatever. So they will use that, and for sure. So you have to, I mean, the reversals and what you're saying, that's essential. But I think there must be a difference then from what you're saying about giving permission, or there must be a big difference, because some of what you said didn't resonate with my experience. So would that be the reason?
No, that's what I'm saying is you didn't have it. You didn't have that experience.
Okay. I get you.
You had a different kind of experience. You had more of the classical test.
Okay,
you had
that
the
was
classical
fine.
test
Thank you, Kundalini.
And I knew it was coming with you, so I knew. So you had the classical test where I think it just suddenly appeared, and it was like one, wasn't a whole chorus. But you didn't have a Greek chorus back there, right?
No, I didn't. It was one, maybe two, or one that could change its voice. I was never sure about that, but yeah, there wasn't a huge array of stuff.
Yeah, when these kids or these people let these dark forces in, they don't know what they're doing. They have no idea. And so in a sense, because I don't see accidents within the whole Kundalini continuum, I see them as self-inflicted, injurious tests that the Kundalini will allow. The story of the person flinging themselves out of the car, bouncing off the pavement, and being bounced right back into the car, that's a true story. That actually happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I believe that with Kundalini. Yeah.
Yeah. She has total authority. It's just like another person had, their whole family, there were like 4 or 5 people in the car, and they pulled out in front of a semi-truck and trailer, and the truck just passed right through them without harming anybody. They all saw it. The father pulled off the side of the road and immediately was in prayers to Jesus for thanks, because he had just had a miracle committed upon him and his family. I can only imagine with the truck driver.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe he was listening to the radio or something, didn't notice it. But yeah, this has complete authority. Have you experienced anything like that in your life? That kind of a miracle?
No, nothing as dramatic as that, Chrism. I've had quite a few miracles, but nothing like that. Yeah, no, nothing.
Well, what about when you're giving people massage, like the cancer patients? Did you have any kind of a sudden remission or anything like that occur?
No, not that I'm aware of, at least. And
not that you're aware of.
That I'm.
I keep remembering magenta and yellow lights bouncing on a massage table and around the room.
Right. Yeah, that's correct.
You don't see that every day.
No, you don't. And I've had quite a few of those experiences with the healing massage. Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I have had quite a few beautiful Kundalini healings of emotional healing and acceptance of what's happening and different things like that. But not, as far as I know, remission of cancer.
I've had the life death thing happen. I had an oak tree going like 45, 50 miles an hour in a Chevy van. You saw that picture, right? That I showed you that one time.
Wow,
I think
yeah,
I even put
absolutely.
it on the group. And that van, I should have died in the van. And I totally remember. And so did the law enforcement guy. Said, "Wow, you shouldn't be walking around right now." I remember swerving the wildlife and losing control of the swerve and literally swerving right into an oak tree. I remember the hit. I remember the wheel, the steering wheel bending in my hand. I remember my chin going into my chest. And that's it. I had a scratch, on my arm. I think I had a scratch on my arm, but I walked out and pretty much unscathed. And that boy, if you see the van, the picture of the van, it was totaled. It was absolutely totaled. The tree was embedded in the engine compartment, and the van wrapped itself around the trunk of the tree from a front head-on viewpoint. Now, it was slightly off center to the right, and so the driver, in the states that created the automobile, is on the right side there, and so it's sorry.
Okay. Well, okay then. Well, I will say I haven't had a quick saving, if you know what I mean. But I shouldn't be walking around either because of an ectopic pregnancy that went on for 16 weeks.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
So, yeah. So there's that. It just took a long time, and it was a miracle. It was actually a miracle that they couldn't believe it, that it was an ectopic pregnancy when they went in to operate, So
wow.
I was really lucky, they said, but I mean, now I realize, that was Kundalini even back then,
Yeah. Absolutely. You've had that agenda your whole life. So this is what happens with the Kundalini people.
Can I ask a question? You said it's self-inflicted, the example we'll say that you're giving, but you also said it was a child, did you? That it happened at a very young age? Yeah?
No. It was a minister's kid.
No.
I was using a minister's kid. No. What part are you talking about then?
I'm talking about self-inflicted from the point of view of being self-inflicted as a child or self-inflicted as an adult, the minister's kid or somebody of that. I mean, not just him, but for other people as well.
To me, like say a 16-year-old, they're in that full-on rebellion, right? And I was using the minister's kid because they would rebel against all the Christianity that they've had to eat, their whole life, not being able to dance, not being able to listen to music, not, you know what I'm saying? A real strict household. And they go to these public schools and everybody else is doing what they can't do, right?
Yeah.
And they would quite often actually throw themselves into the path of the exact opposite of what the parents are trying to teach them, right? Or force down their throat, right?
Yeah, which is kind of normal, isn't it?
Right. But they're throwing themselves right into Satanism. They're
I get you. Okay.
Yeah, they're opening up their bodies for possession.
Okay.
And those dark spirits don't care. They're happy to take a child. They're happy to take a kid. They're happy to corrupt anywhere and anyone that is saying, "Oh, please corrupt me."
Yeah.
And if that child has a Kundalini agenda, well, then that corruption is going to eventually unfold into allowed to be corrupt, and they're going to have to get rid of that corruption, and that corruption is going to take time to correct. You can't just go, "Oh, well, I stopped being a Satanist now." It's 3:35 on a Wednesday, and I stopped being a Satanist last night, so it should all stop. Now, see, no, it's not going to all stop.
No, because it started when you were young as well. That's part of how all your ego and all of that is formed within that context. So, my God, that would be doubly hard, wouldn't it?
It's really hard. It's really, really hard. And there'll be a constant level of, I should just commit suicide type of thought being pushed into them. And so this is, for those of you that have strong religious convictions, I don't care if it's Christianity or Hinduism or Islam or, leprechaunism or,
Okay.
Sorry. Or any kind of a strong religious bent. Don't force that on your kids. Give them the freedom to believe what they want to believe. Goddess, forms within them to believe. I mean, don't, let them come to Christianity or whatever the belief system is on their own. And I know that's falling on deaf ears because, if it's a minister, he's already bought into it and thy child is thine blank slate or whatever. And I'm sure there's some sort of biblical thing saying, do unto your child as you want to. I don't know. Is there something like that in there, Centaur?
I've just zipped my mouth, Chrism. Yeah, well, you see, I mean, I hear you, and you're right.
Like you force your kids.
Not 100%. Said the Christian mama.
No, I understand. I totally get it.
Not fanatical, and absolutely. But I mean, certainly brought up my kids, my older ones anyway, within the context of Christianity, which I think is cool. I suppose it's the way I was brought up, and you reject all of that. That's why I think 16-year-olds rejecting is normal. But then they wouldn't have been within the horrendous sort of example you gave. And I mean, most Christians aren't like that either. Most, just the fanatics.
Aren't what?
In all
aren't
religions.
What?
In all religions.
What?
In
all religions,
that
what?
shove stuff down their kids. That shove their beliefs down kids' throats.
Oh, yeah, it's more the fanatical person. But there's like in any Christian church, they come in together on Sunday, and out of 100 people, you may have 20 that are really fanatical, right?
I have no clue what the proportion is. I'm not going there, but okay.
Yeah. So it's those fanatics that, kind of like stir up the pot for everybody else. They're the ones that are raising their hand up. I'm a sinner. Me too.
Oh my God. Our church was so boring compared to yours. We just sit there, bless ourselves, say our prayers, and leave.
Yeah.
None of those.
And then you guys create these tremendous vendettas against each other and shoot each other.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, you're not
bad.
the only ones. I mean, people do that everywhere, But
what do you mean I'm not the only?
Yeah, it's like the zealots among us. They'll stir the pot up, and what they do to their own kids, especially if a kid has a Kundalini agenda. Wow. It's a double, triple standard for that child to try to get through it. Now, unless their karma resonates with having the Kundalini, and say the Shakti comes to them and in a dream and says, come this way, my child. This is okay. She starts training them through the dream life, which is common, within the whole uncommon thing of Kundalini. Then there's less of an option for that child to fall victim to a poor choice based upon hormonal rejection of parental controls, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can I hear an amen?
Amen and hallelujah.
Amen.
Brother.
Amen. Hallelujah.
I'm throwing my hands up in the air.
Touch my hand and be saved.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
I hope nobody's offended by this. We're only using Christianity because it's one of the big four religions. So that's why. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about that. I'm working with a few people right now that have had that happen, and I feel that is necessary to keep bringing it up over and over and over again, so that you realize that we're not as isolated as we think we are because of the veil of the five senses that have been placed over us in order to have this earth human experience. It is a much more crowded aquarium. Much more. Not a lot of empty spaces in the multiverse. And certainly not within the Vesica Pisces of the two worlds, or the two-dimensional folds coming over and forming a level of interaction for the Kundalini person and for those that are not on this world, the lower astral in many ways, but also, angelic structures or spiritual beings that that are of a positive type of bit. You know, it's all these extremes within the human experience. You've got the extreme negative, you got the extremely positive, and you have got to find your way through the various puzzles and paths that those two extremes perpetuate within your human experience. Always, as much as you can, go for the path of love. And the path of love is not always ooey gooey, cotton candy, you know, sunrises and unicorns and leprechauns. It's not always that way. It can be very, very hard teaching. Love can be an extremely harsh teacher. Anybody that's had a broken heart will attest to that. Anybody that's lost a child will attest to that. Anybody that experienced the other side of love, even though it is still love, but it is lost love or love that is perceived to be lost. When Tika, the Siberian Husky, died, I was really upset because I would no longer get to be within her presence on a physical level. Okay. And, same thing when my father passed away, and it'll be that way when other family members pass away as well. Why did they have to go? I mean, especially when they die young, when they die before what you consider their time to be. My father, for instance, pretty much was going to go. We all knew it because when that esophageal cancer takes hold of you, there's really nothing you can do. You're going to sit there and you're going to starve to death. And it's a slow starve because all your family members will be going, oh, here, let's give you this, cream of wheat or creamed carrots or whatever. They're going to try to make you stay alive as long as they can. They're going to bring in Kundalini healers from Ireland to try to heal them, Those are the best ones. The ones from Ireland. That's the one you want to call. Let me tell you, it says Irish. Oh, I'm there. You bring them in, and they prolong the life, but the esophagus is still being closed off. See, that kind of a thing is by design. It's not an accident that person has that kind of a cancer that is really, really inoperable. I mean, think about it. To take the tumor away from that location, say on my father and other people that I know of, you literally have to bisect the person on the operating table. You got to go around the lungs, go around the heart, go around all of these. You got to really reach in there. It's so hard to get to an O. Then you have to cut off and cauterize the vascular sources of that tumor, the blood that flows into the tumor to keep it alive. And then there's a very, very, very low survival rate of that type of surgery. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's improbable. And it's if the person's like 78 or 80 years old or something like that, it's even more improbable. That's not accidental. You can bring in all the Irish Kundalini healers you want, and it's not going to change a bit. And they will know it. They will say, "Hey, you're going to have to make some arrangements here." If they're, if they know, if they're really good. That's just how it is. With death is part of this experience here. When they're younger, though, when the child is young, like they're 15, 16, like I've been talking about, and they jump out of the car at 75, 80 miles an hour because entities told them to. Well, that's harder to take. A lot harder to take. And so I really want to for any of you teenagers that are listening to this program, do your rebellion. It's fine. It's fine. I totally support your rebellion. Don't feel like you need to go into dark demonic sources in order to effectuate your rebellion. And if you're a 15 and 16-year-old or even, younger or older than that, and you're having the ascension symptoms, which are otherwise known as Kundalini symptoms, Do not start to believe whatever voices start to appear in your head. Do not start to believe in the feelings of hatred, in feelings of despising this or despising that, in the feelings of coarse, rank negativism that is reaching into you. That is not you. You do not own that. Just because you feel something doesn't mean you own it. Okay? You do your very best to get out of that scenario by self-correction. Even though you may despise that person for no reason, it's typically the case, no reason. Even though you may despise that person for no reason, you force yourself to be kind to them. You force yourself to forgive them. You force yourself to have consideration for them. You don't leap at the opportunity to hurt them or to revile them or to embarrass them or to bully them. Okay, that's how you embed entities within yourself. Am I clear about that?
Amen. Yeah, you're right.
Am I clear, Andrew? Am I clear, Bo? Am I clear, Tanjira, and the various guests that we have? Atlanta Seeker, am I clear? I know many of you have heard this before, maybe not all of you, but I know a lot of you've been listening to this program for a little while, and I know that you know. But I also know that you might know a kid that's going this way. And I also know that you may have that opportunity come to you to help them, support their revolution. That's how you get enough courage to leave the house and live on your own. So support the rebellion, but don't support the embedding of negative entities, within that rebellion. Yeah. Bo, thank you for responding. Tanjira, thank you. Yeah. Okay, all right then. I was compelled to do that. Let's take a phone call. All right. We are looking at area code 848, prefix 459. Hello, you're on the show with Chrism. How are you?
Hey, Chrism, it's Tyra. How are you guys?
Hi, Tyra. Good. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. I really look forward to listening to you guys every week, and thank you so much for that.
Welcome.
Yes, I love it. It's like highlight of my week. So the quick question I had is similar to the topic is, now do you think Kundalini tries to push people away from you? Like, for example, I always been have a very great relationship with my parents. I got divorced. I try to make friends or try to help people, but everything kind of washes away, or maybe it's just my nature that I'm doing something wrong. I really feel like I'm really getting secluded in this world.
Well, I think you're being sequestered. You see, I think she will take people out of your life in order to put you into a solo expression. She will put you in a position where you have to be alone. You're not allowed to be with anybody else but your Kundalini. And she can do that swiftly or she can do that slowly. Often, if you've been having a really bombastic Kundalini experience, you're being put through a lot of stuff all at the same time. You're having surrender forced upon you. You're having meekness or forced on you. You're having sacrifice forced upon you. You're having all these changes to your life that you have once considered critical to your survival. Those critical items are being taken away, and you're being forced to change the way you're responding to the Kundalini, and it's coming to you fast and furious, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh my God, and you see people just start falling away from you.
Oh, that's very true. I mean, people literally, something about me. I mean, they all don't want to talk.
I mean, you're using deodorant, right? You're using deodorant, right?
Yeah, I am.
So it's not bad.
No, because I might feel like I try to smile at them. I try to help if they need help, whatever.
Take a shower.
But even
Right?
I shower twice a day, Chrism, and I live in Northeast, so you do the math.
So you don't have excessive toe jam, right?
Yeah, and I feel like one thread at a time. I can see my life path in the next 5 years. I was really hoping to be remarried by now. I had all the things going, and nothing materialized. It's like everything is frozen.
It's frozen on purpose. It's frozen on purpose because marriage is a big deal. Unless your agenda is for you to have the Kundalini awakening within a marriage, and that marriage is, the spouse is going to support the Kundalini. If you're married and you have the Kundalini and the spouse doesn't support it, that marriage is history. That marriage is gone. That marriage was gone before it even started.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
If the spouse doesn't support it, the marriage is basically teetering on thin ice, shall we say. Thin ice. Because you're up there. You're in the north area, aren't you, Tyra?
Mm-hmm. I'm in New Jersey.
Have ice.
Yeah.
So you have those iced over lakes. So, see, they're starting to, they didn't really get that cold this time of year, at least with this winter, I don't think. And so it's thin ice. You can crack through that ice. And unless the Kundalini has designed the marriage relationship in order to force one spouse to forgive the other copiously, that type of thing, or to develop tolerance, or to develop forgiveness and all these types of really superior, noble qualities.
Mm-hmm.
Unless that's the case, that marriage will typically fail. It will typically fail. Or you're not going to be allowed to get married until you're further along in your Kundalini, and she, Sacred Mother, will bring that spouse to you.
Wow. Maybe that's what's
happening.
Moment, now it's adding up.
Well,
yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. For the moment, I really want you to embrace the fact that people are falling away from you.
No, they are falling away like flies, and I'm really trying. I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? And this is happening for the last 10 years.
Nothing wrong. Let it go. Let it continue. Let your Kundalini development is far more important than relationship development. It's only your ego that feels like you're doing something wrong because you're not attracting to the guy.
Right.
You have grace. Grace is far more important than conjugal relationships or relationships where you can go out and have a good night, shall I say. Keep it G-rated here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Kundalini is far more important than that. And she will sequester you. She will put you into a situation where you have no friends, or very few. You have a minimal relationship with your family. You have extremely minimal relationship with the general public. And that general public will reciprocate by having absolutely no interest in you whatsoever. They'll still stop for you if you're crossing the street and you're in the crosswalk, but they won't really look that long at you.
Yeah.
Kundalini,
so this is amazing. What
shine.
You're saying is 100% right. I'm seeing that the world is like drifting away from me. But if I'm stuck somewhere or I need help, I don't have to ask anybody. Somebody will pop out of somewhere, help. I don't even have to tell them my problem.
Right.
They will behave.
Right.
They will behave which the help that I need. I don't have to tell them, even at work. But once that part is done, they will
really
disappear.
Natural. This is natural for you. This is something that you really want to start to embrace, because it is a natural byproduct not even a byproduct. It is part of the agenda of your Kundalini. And you're not the only one having this. I know plenty of Kundalini people that nobody wants to be around them, let alone stand next to them.
Right.
And part of that reasoning is your frequency is so strong and so high that when you come in close contact with another person that doesn't have that level of spin, shall we say, that little level of atomic spin or molecular spin, your frequency crashes into their slower frequency, pushes them right out of their comfort zone. They will skew and they will move away from you. Like you have a
You are
pestilence.
so right. You are so right. God bless you. Thank you so much for confirming. Thank you.
You're welcome, my dear. I'm going to put you in the blue here. And yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Kundalini needs her time with you. It's not all about you going out and getting laid. Not that anybody was thinking along those lines, but it's not about you having, spurious relationships or matrimonial relationships or anything like that. She needs her alone time with you. She needs it. And you need to give it. And if you don't give it, she'll take it. Take it. And if you do, in many, many, many cases, I've seen the marriages end when one spouse becomes Kundalini activated and the other one doesn't. Sometimes it's just a level of jealousy. Sometimes there's a chemical problem, say an addiction. Sometimes there is just basic, a falling apart of communication. And when communication goes in a relationship, the marriage is soon to follow in going away. Okay, so she controls the deal, ladies and gentlemen. You have very, very, very minute levels of control compared to what the Kundalini has over you. You've got to understand that. That understanding will help you make really, really, really good choices that you might not have otherwise made because you think that you're in control. Your ego's going, oh, no. I'm totally in control of this. I can handle this. I can chew gum and walk at the same time. Come on now. I'm perfect at living. I've lived my life up to this point, and I haven't died yet. I hear that. So with those folks, she just has to take it. She just has to inflict it on them. And that's a lot of people, too. That's not just 1 or 2 out of maybe 7 out of 10. I mean, that is, it becomes a difficult ride until they start to figure it out. They start being guided to certain books or magazines or, say, internet groups or maybe they just take a trip to Ireland. That's all you need to do. Ireland's a very special country, very special. And I'm serious when I say that about the specialness of Ireland, that particular place. And let's see, we're going to another caller here, and I believe we are blessed with the presence of Her Holiness and Daughter of Grace, Indra. Hi, Indra.
Hi, Chrism. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, my God, Chrism, I'm falling apart.
OMG.
I knew you would say something like that.
OMG. Well, if you're falling apart, can you save me some of the nice parts? Send them to me in the mail.
Yes, I will. Well, the nice part is my energy did change. I noticed something. I noticed a pattern. My energy changed around my PMS. And as soon as I have
PMS.
that flow, like things, PMS. Like, I was
post-manual schooling?
Yeah, that's it. And I go crazy because I hit this low, and pretty much I can handle Kundalini, like I can manage,
and I ground. I ground a lot, and I'm okay. I'm okay most of the time.
Now listen to those words. Oh my God, the ego, the hubris.
Okay, I can manage. Chrism, I can manage. Even if I hit the lows.
No,
okay,
you don't get to back away from that one so quick.
I get it. I
can manage the Kundalini.
No, but I mean
I'm ready.
Okay.
Babe. Let me have it. Both barrels.
Okay, I can manage the lows. Like if I go for a jog.
Maybe you can manage yourself.
Yes. Yeah. Well, if I go for a jog and I go for like a 40-minute jog and I do my breathing, even though I hit the low, somehow I'm okay. I'm all right. But around that time, I find like I go on this low and I stay on that low, no matter what grounding I do.
Well, I have a little plan for you of action with that one. You ready for that? You're not going to like it.
Go ahead.
Maybe you will like it. I don't know. I have to figure out a way to say that so people don't go, oh my God, what did he just say? So hang on a second.
Yeah.
All right. What you need to do, you need to use the material that is released from the menstruation cycle, and you need to bury it in the ground.
Really? I've heard that when I was a kid growing up.
Yes.
I've
That's
heard
what you need to do.
Older people said that.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is I take...
Be careful now.
I take that... Okay,
material.
I take the blood and I bury it in my the material, and I bury it in my backyard.
I wasn't quite done. You bury it in the backyard, and you plant a sacred tree over that. Now, in this case, it would be a pine tree, some sort of a pine tree, or I'm getting spruce. A spruce tree is good for that. An oak tree is good for that. Also,
what about a lilac tree?
No.
Okay.
An apple tree, a pomegranate tree, orange tree, or citrus tree. Those will also work.
I live in Canada. I don't think citrus will grow.
I don't know. I'm just these are the plants that are coming to me, the trees that are coming to me right now. I would go a pine tree, a certain kind of pine tree. Yeah. Just a second. Sugar pine. I know they're not common on the East Coast, the sugar pine. That's more of a Sierra Madre thing. Maybe one of those maple syrup trees.
Okay.
The kind that because you're going to partake of it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, you're going to partake of it. And you can partake of the pine tree too. The pine needles are loaded with vitamin C. So
really?
Yeah. So this is what you do, and so you take that material, you put it consistently in an area. Don't let anybody else go there. It becomes a sacred spot for you.
Okay.
And like you say 3 months, you do it 3 times there, right? And then you move it, and then you would put, like, say, your lilac plant there, if that's what you're called to do, or a rose, or whatever it is. Try to make it somewhat of a symbol of Kundalini that we're familiar with. Like a rose is a familiar symbol of the Kundalini. A pine tree is a familiar symbol of Kundalini. The red apple tree, the red pomegranate tree. These are all symbols of Kundalini. And so you can, and those are ones that you can partake of. You can eat. And it's not the material that you're eating; it's the energy that you have placed within that area. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
And that should help.
So can I? Okay. So I'm going to do that. Should I wait for the summer?
No. Springtime's the perfect time for that.
Okay. So
Springtime,
can I walk
spring's
you through?
coming. I mean,
Can I walk you through my energy really quick?
Sure.
So
sure.
I had a switch in energy, and I feel it's coming up my body.
Energy?
Pardon me?
You had a what energy?
I had a switch, like a change in energy.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
A change. And it's coming up from under my feet. It's going up past my crown, and it's doing a drop, like a Ferris wheel, like a ride at an amusement park.
Is that
going
like
up.
going behind your head? Going behind your head?
It's what?
Is the energy coming up your front and going behind your head, down your back?
Yes.
Yeah. Circulation of light. Yeah, that's okay. That's all good.
And what's the wheel? Like it's like spinning like a wheel?
Yeah. Yeah, that's normal. That's good.
All right.
That's what the Taoist priests, they would also feel that when they got into certain levels of their Kundalini. And what they would try to do is they would try to mimic that, just the way the Hindu people mimic the Kriyas. The Taoist people mimic the circulation of light, and they call that the microcosmic and the macrocosmic orbit, otherwise known as the circulation of light. And you just go with the circulation. Just go with it. It's very good. It's very healthy. Helps. It's increasing and disseminating the energy into the body systems, but along the energetic anatomy more so than the physical. You've already got a lot of your physical stuff going on, but it's all going on at the same time. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of stuff happening.
Because I feel like, Chrism, I feel like it's expanding. Like if I'm usually I will lie, like I'm lying down and I'm like trying to go with it. And what's happening, it's coming through my body, and I feel like it's expanding out. Like it's huge. Yeah. It's huge over me.
It is, yeah. This is, I don't know if you've seen any of my videos, but one of the videos that, I'm talking about the footprint of an awakened Kundalini person is like a kilometer around. It's huge.
Wow.
And it affects everybody that is within that level of grace that can have that, any kind of a healing or of a scenario that's caused by that expanded level of grace. That makes it available to the populations, which is why really it's so important for us to do this work, for us to inject ourselves into the population. And along that line, I just want to say that currently we are in the process of choosing land for the Kundalini brick and mortar center in PA. We're looking for the land. Right. We're looking at 35 or 34 acres with a spring on it, and with a couple of pads for buildings. This is something that's going to happen. It's we're already.
So we can pretty much check into that place.
Yeah, you can come there. You can stay a while. You can live there. Like say
that's
with Tyra. With Tyra, she,
yes.
you can live there. I mean, of course, we don't want her anywhere near us. Kidding, Tyra.
But that's awesome.
We'll build a special out cabin for Tyra so she can stay all by herself the whole time. Not kidding. It's the general population that will be pushed away, not the Kundalini population.
Right.
But yeah, this is happening, and so for those of you on the East Coast and the Eastern Seaboard, take note, because this is happening, and this has been on the gentleman here that is in the chat room right now, Bo, is crucial for this. He is a very special individual that is currently in such a clear communication with his Shakti that she is pushing him to do this. She is pushing him. She pushed him right into me. Right into me. And
we do need that place, Chrism.
Right. And so, plus we'll have a spring, and I've always enjoyed giving Shaktivations to the water. And so we'll have Shaktivated water too. And so it's really cool. Really cool. And I just want to thank Bo Welch for doing that. That's his name, Bo Welch, and he's right there on the chat room. You can see him. So everybody give a heart to Bo Welch.
Yep.
Because he's doing an amazing service. And we'll be creating a diary on Kundalini Awakening ! And some of the other groups as well. Just like a progress diary. It's like, okay, we found the ground. Okay, we broke ground. Okay, we built Tyra's little cabin off in the woods there. Okay. Kidding, Tyra. Just kidding. I love you. Anyway, that's what's happening. That's what we're going to be doing. And Indra, this is what's happening inside you. You are a Kundalini center in and of yourself. And so you just let that circulation of light occur. You let that prima materia go into the earth. You plant that tree over it. You plant whatever plant you're going to have. And this goes for all the ladies that are having menstruation and having Kundalini at the same time. Do not flush it down the toilet.
Do not?
Do not. Put it in the earth, in the ground.
Okay. But when you use the bathroom and that stuff goes,
Are we not clear on that?
No, but what I mean is when you use the bathroom and you need to pee, it automatically goes down in the toilet.
Well, okay, I understand it. But for whatever material that you can bury it.
Okay. Gotcha.
That goes with the tampons. You can bury the tampon, unless it's got some sort of weird chemical on it. I know that in ancient times, people would use cotton cloths and really absorbent materials, and they knew to bury it. Partly because it would attract predators. It would attract, lions or bears or predators if they didn't bury it. So.
Right.
So do your best, ladies.
Okay.
Santara, do you have anything to say about that?
Hi, Chrism. Am I on air?
Yes. Any comments on that at all?
Because I was listening, but I was also typing to somebody. Okay. That's a very ancient thing, isn't it? About
extremely
bleeding,
yeah.
And even bleeding upon the earth, and certainly burying the materials.
And if you're a virgin and you're having menstrual symptoms, the whole menstruation is to be collected and drunk by the tribe. Just an FYI.
Yeah,
really?
there's a whole ritual around all of that. Yeah.
It's called Starfire. That's what they call it in English. Well, we learn all kinds of things in this program, don't we?
Well, yeah.
Yes. Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, so I pray for guidance. I pray for guidance, and I had a dream this morning that I was in the ocean, and there was a tiger in the ocean, and it was pretty much drowning a woman, and I grabbed her by the leg, and I pulled her out of the water, and I felt the strength of the tiger, but I was stronger than the tiger, and I pulled her out. And when I came out, somebody gave me a piece of jewelry that was silver and had gold patterns.
First of all, the tiger is Shakti, and if the Shakti is drowning somebody, you let him drown, number one. Okay, number one. The fact that you overcame any kind of a fear of the big cat that you saw as a tiger rather than as of Shakti. The fact that you saved the life of the person and you're committing an act of heroism and grace. And so that is why you got rewarded. But you might want to work on your mindfulness about what a tiger is or what a serpent is or what a spider is. or what a wolf is, or what a black dog with red eyes is. I mean, you want to look at what these creatures are, and you want to get that into your head so deeply, so well, that you can recognize it in the dream state, and you can act in a more appropriate fashion.
Okay.
The woman was your ego, by the way.
Right. Okay. Wow, because she was head down,
You saved your ego.
That's not good.
No, that's okay. That's okay. That's all right. You just got to retrain her now. Now it's on you.
Okay. Chrism, thank you so much.
You're very welcome, my dear. Very, very welcome.
Thank you. God bless.
And God bless you as well, my dear. And I'd like to make some announcements, but I'm going to have somebody else make them for me here because she has been putting so much time into this. Matter of fact, they have been putting so much time. Let's see. Which one's Mohan's number? I think it's the 72. I'm going to check here. Hi, is this Mohan?
Yes, Master.
Can you shout? Can you shout?
Yes.
Yes, Master. Okay. So, can you give us a snapshot update on the Denver seminar, my friend?
Just a second. I'm just coming out.
It's coming up.
I'm at work. I'm coming out.
No. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were at work. God.
I'm on the way out. 1 second.
Okay. Is it snowing? I hope it's not snowing. I hope it's not freezing.
No. It's not snowing or it's not even freezing. It's nice outside.
Oh, good. Okay. Thank you, Santara, for checking on these folks. What you're doing right now, I see that. Okay, I don't know if
yes, Master. I'm out.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
Everything is all set for the Denver seminar, and we are looking forward to people to go ahead and register themselves and book the hotel rooms if that is applicable for people.
Yes, I strongly suggest that if you're coming any distance to the seminar, book the hotel room. I mean, if you have the available funding, book the hotel room and because we may be able to use it another year, they'll remember us and go, oh yeah, people book the hotel room. So do that if you can. If you can't, I'm sure they have Motel 6s and Econo Lodges and some of the less expensive hotel or motel rates that are always available. I know when
two queen beds in a room. We have option for that. If somebody wants to share the room, they can let me know. We can coordinate, and two people can book one room. It's like $109
excellent. And
per night.
That's a great idea. I know that Rosemary was Rosemary, I think, was willing to share her room, and I don't know. I think Joey was too. I'm not sure. Let me ask. Here's Rosemary. Hi, Rosemary.
Hi.
Were you willing to share your room, my dear?
Joey has already booked our room, and we have.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Room for a third person, and I have thought about someone else too that I would be willing to room with, and I wanted to announce that Chrism has his flights. He's coming in Thursday. I don't have it in front of me. Don't forget the time. It's like in the middle of the afternoon, and then leaving like late morning on Monday. So
right.
So he'll be with us.
He's coming on Friday or Thursday. I think it's Friday.
Thursday.
Okay.
Thursday.
And I called there and so Thursday. And Chrism, you have your room is scheduled.
Thank you.
You have your room.
Thank you.
taken care of.
Thank you for the room. I don't need twin beds though. If there's a single bed, if it's cheaper.
Yeah.
There are two options from the hotel: one king bed and the other room which has 2 queen beds. So,
are you allowed to jump on the bed and use it like a trampoline?
You can if you want to.
It probably would be okay. It's a new hotel, so they're probably all new mattresses and could handle that.
Perfect. Oh, there you go. When is this beautiful event happening?
April 28th and 29th.
Okay, and what number do they call to register?
We have my number and Rosemary's number on the flyers. And
what's your number? What's your number,
my number
Mohan?
is 720-934-1751.
720-934-1751. And what's your phone number, Rosemary?
Mine is 952-303-6438.
952-303-6428.
6438.
6438. All right. Wow. I am very, very excited about flying into Denver and meeting the Kundalini people coming in from different parts of the United States. And I know that there are some that will be coming.
Yes.
I already know of that. And so really, really thankful for you, Mohan, and for you, Rosemary, for really organizing this, putting this together. Mohan, really appreciate what you're doing with the flyers. And if anybody has Mountain High Awakenings, is that what it's called?
Natural
Mile High. No, Mile High. Denver is a
Mile High Awakening. And we are listed.
But we'll let you know.
We are listed in that magazine, and it's not out yet, but it's coming out.
No.
And so, Mohan, Rosemary, thank you very much. Yes, was there something else?
I want to say something else. Katie and I are working on the Facebook materials. There'll be a registration form there that you can fill out and send in along if you want to pay by check. It's that. And you can pay by PayPal, but my other one was, I guess I didn't use it anymore, so it's not there, and I'm working on a different address. But that'll be on the event page in Facebook, and that's the work of Katie. If she's listening or if she's not listening, I say thank you to her.
Well, in the
skill
meantime,
and her generosity.
you can make the payment to Chris Mitchell 369 at yahoo.com. Just put that into the PayPal window, and I'll transfer that over to Rosemary. And Mohan, thank you for doing all the legwork for this.
Yes.
And thank you. I know you've got a full plate. You've got a pregnant wife. You've got a job you've got to do. You've really got a full plate. And I really want to say, thank you for giving your Kundalini service in these ways.
Thank you, Master. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite all the people who are on call for this web radio event and people in the chat rooms. I would like to invite them personally to come over and attend this Kundalini seminar in Denver in April.
Excellent. I agree and totally would like to echo that to the people that are in the chat room right now: Andrew, Bo, Atlanta Seeker, Michelle, Tanjira, Tim Ashworth, Michelle. Don't worry so much about it. Australia's a long ways away. And, of course, the people that are checking out this program in the archives. And for those that are listening on Facebook, see if you can mark that date on the calendar. And if you can't make that date, there is another seminar that is being held in Germany. And that will be on the last month or last weekend in May. And I'm going to ask you, Centaur, to give all the information on that.
I will, of course, yes. The seminar in Germany is the last weekend, as Chrism says. It's the 26th and 27th of May. And the person to contact is Manish, and she is on Facebook. But I think go to the Facebook page that Rosemary referred to. It's Kundalini Seminars and Events with Chrism. And you will get information on the German seminar there as well. And that's the easiest way, really, to find it.
Excellent.
So it's, so it's, what is it? What did I just say? Kundalini Seminars and Events with Chrism. That's it, Chrism.
Excellent. Who? What? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Okay, so Tara, have you been able to collect any questions at all? We've got 34 minutes.
I have collected some questions, and some of them are from last week. So,
okay.
And I think I have a new one coming in there to the listener who is typing. Type away, and I will check in a minute, and I will read your question out. That's somebody who's listening on the group. Okay, so I'm going to go there now, and I'm going to give you we'll call them the ones that came into my inbox first, Chrism. The first one is, I felt movement in my third eye while in meditation. What does it mean?
I felt movement in my third eye and I'm terrified. Is that it?
No. My God. No. I felt movement in my third eye while in meditation. What does it mean?
Well, okay. That's a little different.
It is.
That's not a bad thing, really. That's just an indication that it's starting to wake up. Don't start, pounding. Oh my God! It reminds me of a video I saw of a guy with a hammer. He had a hammer, and he had some implement, and he was holding it up to people's sixth chakra, the third eye, and he was like pounding the hammer and this implement into their sixth chakra, and all the chakras, by the way. He's like got them over. He's like pounding it into their spine. Oh my God! So don't start doing that. Just let it awaken naturally. It will. You might see a few things. You might see some bright flashes of light, white light, but you'll also probably see some floating suns. Floating suns in blue or green or red, and they're brilliant. They're like little diamonds that are lit up like the sun. They're very bright, but not too bright. They're not overwhelmingly bright. But you see them coming right into your visual field, front visual field. It's not something that's all peripheral. So sometimes they come from your peripheral view and then come right straight in front of you, and they're usually kind of moving around lazily, and then they just kind of fade off in the distance, or they just disappear. And it's just part of the third eye experience. So really, begin to accept that and to understand that. And if you start seeing entities or things of that nature, once again, don't worry. Don't worry. This is just part of the process that you're having, okay? Don't be shocked. Don't be frightened. Put your tongue up behind your upper front teeth. Put your thumb tip and your forefinger tip together. Spread the other fingers out. And bring your chin slightly down and say thank you to the Kundalini for bringing you that phenomenon. Over.
Thank you, Chrism. The next one is, yesterday I saw a green snake in a jungle in green bushes. It had emerald eyes and they were shining. Oh, I read you this one before. Okay, so I think I did. Anyway.
No. I mean, was that in a dream, or did they actually tromp around the jungle and they saw that?
No, this is a dream. Maybe it's just similar to another one. I'll start again. It's a dream. Yesterday I saw a green snake in a jungle with green bushes, and it had emerald eyes and they were shining. My brothers who were with me wanted me to catch it. I did not allow them to do so. What does that indicate?
That indicates a respect for the Shakti. That's a very good thing. First of all, you didn't allow them to harm it or to catch it. And second of all, you saw it in the first place. So the fact that you saw it and you saw it in the colors that you're seeing, it's a love. It's a very much of an anahata, fourth chakra manifestation of the Shakti Kundalini. So she's communicating to you, to your heart. And I do believe it was that action of your heart that allowed you to keep your brothers away from it. Very positive symbol and signal of communication in your dream. Keep going along that line. Over.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question. I hear unstruck sound of chinchini these days. What does it mean?
Ching ching?
Yeah, and I didn't know what that meant. So 1 second.
That means there's money coming your way, baby. Ching ching.
Well, it said chin, and then when I asked to maybe, clarify, the person said chinchini is unstruck sound of anhandnanda, which I hear for the last few days. It sounds like a bell.
Yeah, that's all good. That's forget about the naming of it. I mean, God, it's like people are going to name everything. Well, that pillow that I'm looking at, that's Pillow Ananda, and it's the king of all pillows. And there is, the Pillow Ananda will really, change your life if you sit on it. I mean, golly, please, it is the unstruck sound is typically what is referred to as the naad or the nada. And it's time to wake up is what that's about. It's waking up. It's starting to wake you up. And it's a beautiful experience. And so just go with it. Try not to think that you can figure it out. These people, they've got a culture that recognizes Kundalini, going back thousands of years. And instead of admitting their innocence of it, they think they know everything there is to know about it. And they don't have it awakened within them, and say, it's the Anahata bell, or it's the, Kellogg's Cornflakes bell or something like that. And it's just like, please. Sorry. And I mean no disrespect. I mean no disrespect. But even the people within that culture that have the Kundalini, they know that a lot of the information in that culture is not correct. You don't need to name everything. You can accept it without naming it. Okay. The unstruck sound. I like that. That's a great name right there. The unstruck sound. That's the only thing. The naad is the only thing that I have ever heard referred to as the unstruck sound, and I think that actually came from Shrikant. So Shrikant, I tip my hat to you. Kudos to you for bringing that into our lexicon, our language lexicon, and appreciate that. That's the only thing, and I think that is the only thing that is the unstruck sound. Telepathy could also be considered, I guess, the unstruck sound, because you're actually hearing thoughts in your head, and those are different. Those are like projections, whereas the unstruck sound is literally, like she said, a bell that she hears ring, a beautiful, beautiful bell that is ringing, and this person should really embrace that. Really embrace it. Don't be frightened of it. It's the start of many beautiful things to occur. Over.
Thank you, Chrism.
Thank you,
Okay,
Santar.
so my question is this. This morning as I was laying in bed, it felt like a beam of light was shining out of the top of my head and going into the universe. As I tried to get out of bed to get ready for the day and go to work, I became very lightheaded and had to lay down again for a couple of minutes. When I was able to get up again, the light beam feeling was still happening, and I did not have very good balance for about another 5 minutes. Is this something I should be concerned about, or is it just part of the process?
Well, I think you should be concerned because, I mean, it's like you might begin to put the flashlight industry out of business if you continue to do this. And so, with
Carissa,
you're the human flashlight. No, this is the real deal. This is the energy, actually the liquid light of Kundalini coming out of the fontanelle. And it's interesting how you could say you could feel it because, if you're not in front of a mirror or anything like that, and if you're not like bilocating and looking at yourself, then you're actually feeling it, and you're feeling it through the crown, and the light probably goes quite a distance. And the fact that this is like the beginning stages of that for you, and you'll have to lay down a little bit, and you'll feel, a bit tired. You're making adjustments right now. You're making adjustments in order to allow the light to increase its lumen coming through your fontanelle. And it's a very, very, very good sign, a very, very good positive phenomena for you to have happen to you, and really allow it to occur. Really surrender into this, and don't try to control it, but keep yourself as open as you possibly can be with it. And you might also, when you're meditating, bring those eyes up, and you'll see that light from inside your head as well. Over. And if I need a flashlight, I'm going to be calling you.
Okay, there's two parts to the next question. The first part is, why are we so sensitive to judgment and what people say to us or about us? And the second, meaning Kundalini person. And the second part is, and why?
Let me just do this one. Okay. Within Kundalini, everything gets amplified. The emotional body and the ego aspects that are injected into the emotional body, i.e., being concerned about how people think of us or speak of us or act around us, whether or not we're respected. Are we respected within the societal expectations of what respect is? Are we being respected or not? And so the ego is going to flare because the ego itself is also being amplified. It's not just the mental body, not just the emotional body, not just the physical body or the spiritual body, but it's also the ego, the psychological body, the mundane psychological body is being amplified, and it wants to be treated with respect. Damn it. If it's not being treated with respect, well, it's going to get angry. Okay, and so you need to really understand that within Kundalini, we're very, very, very sensitive, and you need to get a handle on your ego, like a conscious handle on it. Like, realize that you're going to get triggered. The ego is going to be triggered through various means that through its amplification and through the irritation of its comfort zones, the ego is going to get triggered, and you just need to fall into greater levels of forgiveness, greater levels of patience, greater levels of tolerance, greater levels of appreciation and gratitude to Kundalini for this happening to you. And if you're hearing these words right now, then you now know, and you don't have an excuse to let your ego, blow up at somebody because you're having Kundalini. You see, you now know. Okay, over.
Thank you. And the second part is, and why do we feel provoked with anxiety and sudden explosion in that moment?
Well, because some of us have been smoking marijuana, and that has a tendency, no, seriously, that has a tendency to eat away at our emotional control. And so if we've been, really into the whole ganja thing or marijuana thing, or what other word do they use for it? Whatever it is. If we're into that zone of expression, then our emotions are going to be very, very raw and difficult to control. Same if we're drinking a lot of alcohol. If we're around a lot of alcoholics, or we're ourselves partaking of alcohol, that is also going to eat into our levels of control over our rage, or our the different levels of negativism that can come from overamped egocentrism. And also, if we're partaking of caffeine, whether it's through chocolate or coffee or black tea, if we're partaking of these types of caffeines, we're going to irritate the adrenals even more than the Kundalini already is. And she's already irritating those adrenal centers, the adrenal glands. She's irritating them in a big way. And when you add caffeine to that, you're putting out the fire with gasoline or with petrol, or, with another flammable substance. And you need to stop the caffeine. You need to stop the alcohol. You need to stop the marijuana. You need to stop the cigarette smoke too, if you can do it. Sometimes she won't let you smoke anyway, but sometimes she'll let other people smoke. So, there are different variables that people fall into that will diminish their level of emotional control. And you want to take out those variables. Take them out. We're irritated easily, which to me is just another word for triggered. We're triggered easily because of the sensitivity and the irritation that the Kundalini is causing our control centers, our egotistic expectations and attachments. And if we don't get what we want, depending on our emotional maturation, we're going to explode at people. Sometimes when I'm teaching a person, I'll explode at them on purpose, just to get the point across. Just because that is how we sometimes communicate on this world, on the unenlightened side of the world. So, there is that too. You don't want to always believe it. And you don't always want to believe that you need to do it in yourself. The trigger may be there, but if you double check, you don't need to respond to it that way. Over.
Can I just add to that as well, Chrism, in case in case the person listening, isn't doing marijuana or isn't doing alcohol or caffeine, which is a huge thing. Just suppose they're not. I think also what you just said there, that last point about the trigger, and really I think we're offered as well. I think that happens to us because we have to make different choices when we have Kundalini. So the feeling you're triggered and you make different choices,
Right.
And I think that's part of our testing and our the changing of our goals and our responses that the Kundalini brings. And that's why the safeties are huge. I mean, they will really help a person in that way around tolerance and forgiveness and all of that. Mm-hmm.
I was talking with Bo the other day, or I think it was today, actually. Yeah, it was today. I was talking with Bo, and we're talking about formats and whatnot for the center, and the safeties. I'm feeling are going to be the profound psychology of the center as much as possible. The safeties as a expression of life, as an expression of living a Kundalini life will be in a very, very strong and expressive what's the word? Dogma? I don't want to use the word dogma.
Oh my God, no.
It'll be a
philosophy or working
people.
Yeah. Well, not enough. You see, the thing is, it's really interesting, isn't it? Because I mean, coming from my background, the Christian background, dogmas are the one thing that trigger me. because I've had so much difficulty with dogmas. You know, dogmas are things, and you're sort of forced to believe them, and you're forced to act upon them, really. And so that's not good. But I mean, definitely for me, anyway. You know, I suppose the safeties are crucial. Absolutely crucial. I couldn't imagine how can you actually bring that in without calling it a dogma? Because I don't think they're dogmas. They're choices.
I like options.
They're
philosophy.
I mean, you don't
philosophy. How about a philosophy?
Yeah, and you can use those, and you know, I would completely advise you use those. But because they work so well, and because they have been given from the Kundalini, and you know, have saved my butt over and over and over, and I can't imagine living my life without them. Yeah.
Totally, I'm there with you, hon. I'm totally there with you.
Yeah.
10-4, all the way 5 by 5.
Amen. But yeah, just to get back to the guy. So I think that's what it's about. You bring in the safeties and their tests, and it'll help you to move into a place of tolerance and forgiveness and understanding, compassion, and even to use the noble behaviors, you know. I mean, in some respects, what Chrism and we were talking about earlier about the crucible of reversal. Before I had my entity, that episode of Entity there last year, I used to try and do the crucible of reversal with my ego, and it works really, really well. You know, you can do it by using the safeties. So, you know, if that person is really irritated by somebody, what was it they said? Explosion. Well, you feel an explosion coming, you know. It's not like an explosion that you've no control over it. So when the explosion comes, you've got an option there of doing the opposite, of doing something different to what your ego is pushing you towards, you know. And those are great tests in many respects. If you can look upon it as a positive thing in moving through the transformation with Kundalini, go for the safeties, and it'll really help.
Right on target, Centaura. You are so right. Let's see. Bo is writing. He said, right around the first time Chrism and I spoke, we had a serpent in the house that had come out too early, and we warmed the serpent up, turned to hibernation until the weather warms. Wow, very cool, very cool. Nicely done. Okay. Next question, my dear.
Okay, Chrism. So there was a question here on the group, and I'll just ask the question without the background because I think it stands on its own. Are you saying, it's probably not fair, are you saying we create our own reality, that we are producers of our own hologram, that is really...
No.
Yeah, okay.
No.
So will you speak a little on that?
Yeah, that's a very, very precious mindset that a lot of people like to have because it gives their ego the comfort to say, well, you know, I created my own reality, and it's like, because it's my reality, it's not your reality, and because it's not your reality, you have no control over my reality. No, that's not how it works. You got to remember that to a certain degree, you can have the option of creating portions of your reality. But when it comes to Kundalini has the upper hand. Kundalini has the overview, the control over what happens to you within the equation that it's developing for you. You know, I use Bo as an example. You know, Bo's in Texas. He's got a construction company. You know, making the life there, Texas life, right? You know, and Kundalini comes, and all of a sudden he has to leave Texas and go to PA. He doesn't know why. I mean, he's not planning on this. He's helping somebody. He's going over to help somebody. But, you know, boom, you know, he didn't sit there and go, hey, God, maybe I just want to go to PA. Let me see if he's responding to that at all. Respond to that, Bo, over there on the chat room. Write about that a little bit. I hope it was okay I mentioned that. And it's just like other people, same thing. Like, oh gosh, I'm going to move cross country because I want to learn certain things about the Kundalini. Not like something you had on your agenda. You didn't look at it 6 months ago and go, oh, I want to move to PA, or oh, I want to move to Montana in the wintertime. It's Kundalini has the agenda. She controls the agenda, and you can go to town. A lot of you are going to go into resistance to this because you want to think, well, I've been walking the spiritual life quite some time now, and I think I've been very successful with this, and I've had total and complete control over everything that I've had to do in order to reach this level of spiritual greatness. And you know what? It's like, then you don't have Kundalini. Or you're still in the activation phase. I mean, you need to understand that there are greater levels of consciousness than what this mundane mind can express. It is the enlightened consciousness, the consciousness of grace, the consciousness of divine that will open an individual to the possibilities that their mind and their equation has not been able to ascertain, has not been able to create, has not been able to act upon because it didn't know about it in advance. Does that make any sense there, Amelia?
Yes, Chrism, it sure does. And did you see what Bo wrote?
No.
I was thinking, why the heck am I going?
Why are you telling people like that?
He was thinking, why the heck am I going to Philadelphia?
Yeah, why the heck am I going to PA? It's cold up there. It's over in New York, for crying out loud. No. So, yeah. So, thank you, Bo. Thank you. Great example. Over.
Okay, thank you, Chrism.
Thank you,
my
Sandra.
page just... Okay, so the next question. Okay, so, well, it's not a question, and this was from last week. You wrote a quotation about shame, and I was going to read it and ask you to speak about it. Would that be okay?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, Chrism wrote, shame is of the ego. Shame is of the ego. Shame is of the ego. Try to remove that or use it to drive yourself deeper into your Kundalini commitments. You have been what you are, and you have done what you have done to be who you are. There is no shame. It's all about refinement now, self-correction, and moving forward into grace.
Yes.
So.
Oh. I think I said it pretty clearly right there. The one thing I didn't say, I guess, is that this is within the Kundalini. This is within the Kundalini. You can be shame works very well as a conducive agent of self-correction. Okay? Mm-hmm. So if you screwed up somewhere, and it's like, God, let's just say you hurt somebody because you had an ego outburst that you failed to control, right? Uh-huh. And you feel ashamed of yours. You feel shame. It's like, oh, Jesus, what did I do? Oh, my God. It's just, oh, my God. Shame. You feel shame.
Yeah.
And so you've got to look at that. You've got to look at that. And you got to realize that shame is of the ego, and that you self-correct and you try to remove that energy of shame, or you use it to drive yourself deeper into your Kundalini commitments. And see, that's a very big deal. You use shame as a tool of self-correction, okay? And you have been what you are, and you have done what you have done to be who you are. And this is talking about your karma. This is talking about your personal history. This is talking about not so much about that immediate thing that caused you to feel ashamed, that mistake, but it's talking about you as a person, okay? You have been who you are. You have done what you have done to be who you are, i.e., you are in an evolution. This is an evolution. And there is no shame in evolution. Okay? So it's going from a small picture to a big picture, really. And it's all about refinement now, which is the big picture, right? Self-correction and moving forward into your grace. And so you don't want to get lost in shame. People, because everything gets amplified with the Kundalini, people can get lost in shame. And I want to warn them against that. Don't get tied up into your mistakes. Everybody makes the mistakes. If you don't make the mistakes, you're not learning anything. Over.
Thank you, Chrism. I got deeply scared by something while sleeping at night, and I don't know what that was. In meditation, I meditate and sleep, but my roommate was saying that I was making sounds while sleeping, and when I woke up, I was crying and shaking. Is this also a sign of spiritual awakening?
Repeat that question, please.
Did you say reread?
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
Please repeat.
I got deeply scared by something while sleeping last night, and I don't know what that was. I meditate and slept, but my roommate was saying that I was making sounds while sleeping, and when I woke up, I was crying and shaking. Is this also a sign of spiritual awakening?
It can be. I mean, that's just one instance, so I'm not going to say, well, you're spiritually awakened and enlightened now. Also, if you're having a nightmare, I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at this person right now. It's kind of weird. When you're having a nightmare, that nightmare can have an effect on the individual in the waking state as well. It doesn't always have to stay in the dream state. So if you had a nightmare and you're talking in your sleep, and you're really, obviously you're really involved in what is going on, and it's scaring you to pieces, that fear is not just going to go away because you wake up. Okay? I wonder if I should give it I guess I have time to give an instance on this. I had a friend of mine, Tony Hernandez, who went to high school with him, went to junior high with him, knew him pretty well. Good guy. His family moved onto a haunted ranch. And him and his brothers and sisters would wake up consistently having the blankets slowly rolled down their bodies by this being. And this ghost would show up and it would be able to remain within their physical vision with their eyes open, wide open, and then it would slowly dissipate into the wall. So this stuff can happen. Now, he was not Kundalini awakened, but he was sensitive spiritually. And if this person's sensitive spiritually, then yes, you can have it bleed into your waking consciousness. And Santara, I've got less than 90 seconds left now. Okay.
Yes.
So any last words, my dear?
No, Kristen. See everybody next week.
Okay, thank you everybody for tuning in the chat room and on Facebook and in the archives, and I just want to say you can get more information like this. If this information is calling to you, you can look at the YouTube videos, Chrism.Kundalini on the YouTube channel. Please look at your calendar, see if you can make the Denver seminar. Call Mohan or Rosemary, and please check your calendar, see if you can meet the Germany seminar. Call Manish, and look for her on Facebook. It's been a pleasure serving you this day. And many thanks to Bo and the other people that are starting to come together to bring Kundalini assistance to others in physical